Before the medals, before the fame, before his name became synonymous with greatness, Michael Phelps was just a restless boy who couldn't sit still. Born on June 30, 1985, in Baltimore, Maryland, Michael wasn't the picture of a future champion. He was shy, fidgety, and constantly distracted. His teachers called him inattentive, and by the time he was diagnosed with ADHD, many around him doubted he would ever be able to focus long enough to achieve anything big. But what they didn't realize was that his mind, though wild and wandering, was wired for something extraordinary, a drive so powerful that once it found direction, it would rewrite history. Swimming entered his life not as a career plan, but as therapy. His mother, Debbie, introduced him to the pool to help manage his energy and calm his racing thoughts. The moment Michael's body hit the water, something clicked. The pool wasn't chaos, it was clarity. Underwater, he wasn't restless, he was free. Every stroke brought peace, every lap brought focus. It was as if the water was whispering to him, "Here, you belong." Michael began swimming at the North Baltimore Aquatic Club, where his early coach, Bob Bowman, immediately noticed something rare, a boy with not only physical potential but also a ferocious mental hunger. Even as a child, Phelps absorbed every instruction like a sponge. Bowman would later say, Michael had an intensity one had never seen in someone his age. He wasn't just training, he was studying greatness. While other kids played or took breaks, Michael would stay behind, perfecting turns, visualizing races, imagining the impossible. But the road was not smooth. Being young and diagnosed with ADHD made school difficult, and Michael often faced ridicule. Classmates called him names, and teachers underestimated him. But his mother never let him believe that his challenges defined him. She would tell him, "Your mind works differently, Michael, and that's your strength." Those words planted a seed of resilience. Every time someone doubted him, every time he felt misunderstood, he stored it deep within, turning pain into purpose. At just 11 years old, Phelps made a bold declaration: he wanted to be the best swimmer in the world. Not just good, not just great, the best. His coach smiled but didn't dismiss it. Bowman began designing a program that would push young Phelps beyond his limits. Early mornings, grueling workouts, endless drills, while others were sleeping, Michael was already in the water. The pool became his sanctuary and his battlefield. By the age of 15, Phelps qualified for the 2000 Sydney Olympics, becoming the youngest male to make a U.S. Olympic swim team in nearly 70 years. He didn't win a medal that year, but his performance shocked the world. Competing against older, stronger swimmers, Michael finished 5th in the 200-meter butterfly, a hint of what was to come. To the world, it was a good effort. To Michael, it was unfinished business. After Beijing 2008, Michael Phelps stood atop the world, untouchable, unbeatable, and universally celebrated as the greatest swimmer in history. 8 gold medals, 7 world records, and a legacy cemented. He had achieved what no athlete had before, but behind that wall of triumph lay an emptiness he couldn't understand. The cameras flashed, the world cheered, and yet when the noise faded, Michael was left asking himself, what now? He had climbed the mountain so high that there was no higher peak left to conquer. For the first time, he found himself without a goal, and for a man who had built his life around purpose, that absence became a void. When the Olympics ended, Phelps took a break from the pool. For the world, it was a well-deserved rest. For Michael, it was the beginning of a silent war. He stopped training, stayed up late, partied, and tried to live like a normal 20-something, but he quickly discovered that he didn't know how to live without the structure that had defined him since childhood. The discipline, the daily grind, the strict regimen, all gone. The once laser-focused athlete drifted through life with no direction. Fame became a burden, expectations became chains, and for the first time, he felt lost. Michael had spent years perfecting his body, but never learned how to rest his mind. And when the spotlight dimmed, the shadows crept in. Depression struck. He struggled with identity, self-worth, and the pressure of being perfect. The boy who once found freedom in water now felt trapped by it. People saw the champion, few saw the man drowning in silence. The higher he soared, the harder he fell inside. In 2012, he returned to the pool for the London Olympics, not with joy, but with pressure. The world expected another flawless performance. Though he still won 4 golds and 2 silvers, something was missing. His passion had dimmed. After his final race, he declared retirement, saying he was done. But even he didn't fully believe it. Deep down, Michael Phelps wasn't finished, he was just exhausted. The world celebrated his farewell, yet he was silently slipping deeper into darkness. Post-retirement, life took a turn he never anticipated. Without training, without goals, his demons surfaced. He began to spiral: alcohol, parties, isolation. In 2014, he was arrested for DUI. The headlines were brutal. The public judgment stung. Sponsors distanced themselves. For a man whose image was built on discipline and excellence, it was a devastating fall. But perhaps it was the moment he needed most. Because sometimes, life has to break you completely before it rebuilds you stronger. In the aftermath of his arrest, Phelps isolated himself. He refused calls, locked himself away for days, battling thoughts he couldn't control. He later admitted he even considered ending his life. For a few days, I didn't want to be alive, he confessed in interviews. As Michael Phelps continued to dominate the sport, his story evolved from that of a young prodigy to an unstoppable force redefining what human potential could achieve in water. The world watched in awe as he transformed the swimming pool into his kingdom, his body cutting through water like a blade of purpose. Yet, what truly made Phelps extraordinary was not just the number of medals he won, it was the fire behind them, the unyielding will that refused to break, even when everything around him tried to pull him under. His training was brutal, waking up at 4:30 a.m., swimming nearly 80,000 meters a week, maintaining a 12,000-calorie diet, and still pushing for more. While most would crumble under such intensity, Phelps thrived in it. Every lap was a conversation between his mind and his destiny, every breath a promise that he would never surrender to mediocrity. He understood something profound: greatness isn't given, it's forged in the relentless pursuit of impossible goals. When he competed in the 2008 Beijing Olympics, the world witnessed one of the most remarkable athletic achievements in history. 8 gold medals in 8 events, each victory representing years of sacrifice, pain, and the unspoken war between his doubts and his dreams. But what many didn't see behind the glory was the deep loneliness, the isolation that comes with being at the top. After the Olympics, fame flooded his life, but so did emptiness. He battled depression, faced public scrutiny, and questioned his purpose beyond the pool. It was during this dark period that Phelps confronted his most significant challenge: himself. The medals, records, and fame couldn't silence the inner turmoil that haunted him. But in facing that darkness, he discovered a deeper version of strength, the kind that doesn't come from speed or power, but from acceptance and healing. He sought therapy, learned to express his emotions, and began speaking openly about mental health. In doing so, he became more than an athlete, he became a voice of hope for millions who felt unseen in their struggles. His story turned into a lesson that true success isn't about how fast you swim or how high you climb, but how deeply you heal and rise again after falling. When Phelps returned to compete in the 2016 Rio Olympics, it wasn't just about medals anymore, it was about proving that redemption is possible. He swam with clarity, with peace, and with a purpose far greater than himself. His presence inspired teammates, uplifted fans, and reminded the world that victory is sweetest when it's earned through resilience. After winning 5 golds and 1 silver in Rio, he retired, not as the same young boy from Baltimore, but as a man who conquered his mind, mastered his craft, and redefined legacy.